The intersection of elite sports and serious criminal liability has rarely been more stark than in the build-up to UFC 329 in Las Vegas. As former two-weight champion Conor McGregor prepares to make his highly publicized return to the Octagon against Max Holloway, his presence under the bright lights brings a deeply uncomfortable conversation back to the absolute forefront of public consciousness. While the sporting world hypes the return of its most lucrative star, a parallel, devastating reality exists for survivors of sexual violence who are forced to witness the international adoration of a man legally found liable for rape. The sporting spectacle vs. the legal reality. Promotional packages for the fight focus heavily on legacy, athleticism, and the redemption arc of a fighter returning to the cage after multi-year absence. Millions of fans worldwide will tune in, buying merchandise and celebrating McGregor's return as a major cultural moment. Yet, this global celebration exists in direct contrast to the definitive legal findings established in a Dublin courtroom. In November 2024, a High Court jury found McGregor civilly liable for the assault of Nikita Hand at a Dublin hotel in 2018. Ms. Hand was awarded €248,603 in damages, and McGregor's subsequent appeals were completely rejected, concluding with the Irish Supreme Court definitively shutting down his legal challenges. Despite the court's rejection of his version of events, McGregor has continued to assert his innocence at media days, and his multi-million-pound corporate partnerships, brand deals, and athletic platform remain entirely intact. The psychological toll on survivors. For survivors of sexual assault, the spectacle of a civilly liable perpetrator receiving global adulation is more than just jarring, it is deeply traumatic. Psychologists and advocacy groups point to several distinct harms that occur when a perpetrator is accepted back into the international spotlight. Institutional betrayal and secondary trauma. When a survivor steps forward, they frequently endure intense public scrutiny, lengthy legal battles, and extensive character assassination. To see a court of law uphold the accusation, only for the global public and corporate entities to effectively say "we do not care," constitutes a severe form of secondary trauma. It reinforces a message that a perpetrator's financial value and entertainment merit carry more weight than a child or adult survivor's humanity and right to justice. The myth of accountability. There is a common, comforting narrative in society that if a person commits an offense and pays damages or is held legally responsible, justice has been served. However, for a multimillionaire, a court-mandated payout and substantial legal fees do not equal accountability when their earning potential, celebrity status, and public adoration remain entirely undisturbed. For survivors watching from home, it demonstrates that money and fame can act as a shield against true social or professional consequences. The isolation of the collective cheer. When thousands of fans fill an arena to chant a liable perpetrator's name, or when millions tweet support, it creates a deeply isolating environment for survivors everywhere. It signals that society is willing to compartmentalize sexual violence as a footnote, rather than a disqualifying act of harm. The wider cultural message. The celebration of figures legally found liable for sexual violence does not just affect the immediate survivor, it silences others. It tells victims that if their abuser is powerful, wealthy, or talented enough, the world will ultimately choose to look away. As the cameras pan to the Octagon, the broader conversation surrounding UFC 329 is a reminder of the massive gap between legal accountability and true cultural reckoning. For the sporting industry, the event is a lucrative business triumph. For survivors of assault, it is a stark, public reminder of how easily society can separate a person's violent actions from their public value.